everybody. Today we're going to take a few minutes to learn about the 6 men who qualified for the Rogue Invitational out of the queue. In top spot, you got Ricky Garard. He's the 23rd ranked athlete on the CrossFit's worldwide rankings. He missed most of this season, or the important part of this season, because he hurt his collarbone mountain biking. So missed out on the games this year. He also missed out on the Torium Pro, where that injury happened. But looked like a lock for the games based off how the season was progressing for him prior to the injury. So he finished 15th in the worldwide quarterfinal rankings and had a 7th spot in the CrossFit Open. So definitely on track to build up from his 3rd place finish at the CrossFit Games in 2022. This will be Gerard's 2nd appearance at the Rogue Invitational. Last year he finished a disappointing 10th. He got sick as he traveled over to the US from Australia, so hopefully that doesn't repeat this go around. And then his best performance at the CrossFit Games was again 2022, where he did finish 3rd overall. So honorable mention to his performances last year again. Like, he really had a great lead up to the season. At Wodapalooza at the start of the year in January, he also finished 1st overall on the podium that also had Roman Krenikov and Patrick Vellner, who both finished on the podium at the games this year. So Ricky Garard, definitely in contention for a podium finish at the Rogue Invitational. In 2022, the winner of the Q was Chandler Smith, and that propelled him to a 2nd place finish at the Rogue Invitational last year. So it'll be interesting to see if Ricky can take that same momentum with a top 5 finish at the Invitational here in October. The 2nd place finisher on the Q this year was Victor Hoffer. He's ranked 104th in the worldwide rankings, just missing out on the CrossFit Games this year. He was invited to be a member of the demo team as a gymnastics specialist. Apparently he just tore the roof off the inverted medley, beating even Daniel Brandon's time there. So interesting to see him competing at Rogue, which tends to focus more on the heavy objects as opposed to gymnastics. But by finishing 2nd in the queue, hopefully that gives Hoffer some confidence going into a competition with the best in the world. At the European semifinals, he finished 13th, so just a couple spots out of that last qualifying spot for the game. So was right in there to the end, on the verge of making that first appearance in Madison. Had a 10th place finish in the worldwide quarterfinals, and for the 2nd year in the row, he did have a worldwide record in the quarterfinal events, and was the youngest athlete to do so. And then in the Open this year, he finished 134th overall. In other competition news for Hoffer, in June he did compete in the French Throwdown, where he did claim a 2nd overall finish in that competition. In 3rd place on the Q leaderboard, we have Travis Mayer. Travis Mayer missed the entire 2023 season due to a wrist injury he sustained back in February, so it'll be good to see him qualify and back on the competition floor. This will be Mayer's 3rd appearance at the Rogue Invitational. In his previous 2 performances there, he finished 6th twice, both in 2019 and in 2021. So be interesting to see if he can have another top 10 performance at Dell Diamond. His best finish at the CrossFit Games was 10th, way back in 2016. For Mayer, he has been busy in off-season events, so in September this year, he finished 3rd at the Madrid Championship behind 2023 Games athlete Lazar Dukic and Jonah Koski. And then at Wodapalooza in January, he finished 3rd on the boys team with Chandler Smith and Noah Olsen. And then looking back to last season at the 2022 CrossFit Games, Mayer finished 18th. It's interesting, just as we look at the top 3 on the Q leaderboard, 2 of the top 3 missed the season due to injury. So kind of just another argument for a pro card to see some of the best miss the season due to injury, but then be able to qualify in the hardest qualifier in the sport. Just kind of lends some argument to the fact that we need to see our best athletes compete a little bit more, and may need some little leeway in terms of things like injury. Fourth place on the Q leaderboards, you got Tudor Magda. He's ranked 37th in the worldwide rankings this year. He did not make it to the CrossFit Games out of the North America West semifinal. Had a bit of struggle there, finishing 25th. Also this season, he had a 52nd in worldwide quarterfinals and a 210th in the CrossFit Open. So not exactly what he was looking forward to building onto his rookie year at the games last year. At the 22 CrossFit Games, Magda finished 34th. And for him, this will be his rookie appearance at the Rogue Invitational. Tudor Magda did take part in Wodapalooza this year. As an individual, he finished 10th overall, and then was a member of the Panchik team as an honorary Panchik brother, where he finished 5th place overall. For Magda, he will be interesting to watch at the Rogue Invitational. He's been one of the biggest lifters in the sport. So at CrossFit semifinals this year in event 4, which had the run 800 meters, then the 1 rep max snatch, he had the worldwide record there. And then at 2022 semifinals in the barbell complex, he had the 4th biggest lift worldwide. So expect to see some fireworks, at least in the 1 rep max lift that we should see at the Rogue Invitational. But it'll be interesting to see in a typically strength-focused event how Magda does. Our 5th place finisher on the Q leaderboard this year is Garrett Clark. Ranked 62 on the worldwide rankings. He's probably the biggest unknown out of all the athletes competing at the CrossFit Games this year. He finished 16th at North America East semifinals this year in what was likely the most competitive field for qualifying spots out of a semifinal. He had 144th in worldwide quarterfinals and finished 114th in the CrossFit Open this year. So he is training under Tim Paulson in the Forged by Zeus training program. So has some mentorship and coaching there to compete at this type of level. For Clark, he does have some experience at an elite level outside of the season. At the 2022 FIS experience, he did take 1st overall in that competition. Our final man to make it out of the queue this year is Jayson Hoffer. Ranked 10th worldwide in the CrossFit Worldwide rankings, had a disappointing CrossFit Games this year where he finished 31st and was part of that first round of cuts. But outside of that, Hoffer did have a really stellar season going for him. So he finished 2nd at North America East semifinals. And based off of that scores, was also good for 2nd, or tied for 2nd with Patrick Vellner in a worldwide semifinals leaderboard. In worldwide quarterfinals, Hoffer would have finished 31st, and in the Open, 35th overall. So to have top 50 finishes in both quarterfinals and the Open, impressive for Hoffer. He has been to the Rogue Invitational twice before, finishing 7th in both 2021 and 2022. And for Hoffer, his best finish at the CrossFit Games in 2 years was in 2022 when he also finished 7th. So be interesting to see if he is able to bounce back and have that top 10 potential. Hoffer's probably the biggest wild card of the group and could obviously finish anywhere from 21st to a top 5 finish, just based off of what we've seen from him in the past. For Hoffer, outside of the season this year, we saw him compete on the teams this year at Wodapalooza, where he was part of that 4th place team at that competition. So interesting to see what we get out of Hoffer this season, since he was able to sneak in as they extended the number of qualifying spots from 5 to 6. If you want to see any more stats or info on the Rogue Invitational or any of the athletes competing this year, just send us a DM or answer us in the comments here. I'm always happy to dive into things a little further. And with that, give us a follow on Instagram at Franlung Analytics and subscribe here on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Just an easy way to support us getting the word out there about the world of CrossFit. With that, take care and have a great day.